Welcome to Over 50 TV. My name is Lou Reyes. I'm your host, and today I'm going to be talking about 3 interview mistakes that virtually everybody makes and how you can avoid them. But before I do that, what I want to do is just remind you that if you haven't already done so, just subscribe to our channel so you get our latest updates. And you can do that by just hitting the subscribe button. Now, next to the subscribe button is a little bell. If you click on that little bell, our latest updates will go right to your inbox so you won't miss anything. As somebody who has hired hundreds of people for my companies, somebody who's interviewed probably 10 times that many, I've seen that most people who come in for an interview don't have the interview skills that are needed just to talk to one of our interviewers or even talk to me. Now, what I will say though is that it is something that if developing interview skills are something that you can learn. It's something that if you study, you can become pretty good at it. Even somebody who is over 50 years old, who I've seen come in my door and talk to me, and I would think, geez, these guys have been out here for a long time, they've been interviewing, and you'd think their skills would be up to par, but no, I mean, often, as I mentioned, often the skills are just not there. So let's talk about the first mistake that I see people make, and that's not being able to handle behavioral questions. And what do I mean by a behavioral question? A behavioral question is an open-ended question that an interviewer will ask so they can see how you would handle a particular situation. And it's pretty simple. I'll just give you an example. If I'm sitting across from someone and I say, tell me about a very difficult situation that you were in at work, or I might even say, tell me about an employee that you had a difficult time working with. How did you handle that? And more often than not, I'll get an answer that's rambling, an answer that's not direct, an answer that I listen to, and quite honestly, I mean, sometimes I just want to fall asleep. I'm listening to these people ramble on and on about it, and they're sometimes incoherent. It doesn't make any sense. So a behavioral question is a question that if you study, and if you really sit down and you write down answers that before you go into an interview, you practice the answers to behavioral questions, you can answer them quite well. And what that does is it lets the interviewer know that, hey, you've been there, you've seen it, you handled it, and that was it. It was simple for you to take care of. But a behavioral question is a question a lot of interviewers will ask, and you really should know how to answer those types of questions. Now, another interview question or mistake I should say, that I've heard, and again, I've heard this a few times, or seen this myself, is that I'll be interviewing someone, and I'll interview them, and it's almost like I'm interviewing a robot. I'll ask a question, they give me the answer. I ask another question, they give me an answer. These are always direct answers. They don't try to build a rapport. There's no friendliness to it. Even sometimes I might get an answer though that I'm listening and I'm scratching my head. I'm thinking, what are you saying? There's no rapport, there's no friendliness. I'm not comfortable with them. And if you want to get a position, if you're going to be working with someone, you want them to be comfortable with you. There's an old saying, and you've heard it, I'm sure you've heard it, that if you're buying something, you want to buy from someone you like, someone that you can identify, someone that you're comfortable with. So why in the heck would you want to hire someone if you're not comfortable with them? So put yourself in the interviewer's place and think to yourself, I want this person to at least like me, at least feel comfortable with me. So it's a mistake that a lot of people make. But again, these are mistakes that you can easily fix. Practice building a rapport, practice being comfortable, practice even answering some good questions that you're going to hear and come across in a friendly manner. So listen, that's 2. Let me give you the third mistake that I've seen. And this is a mistake that I've seen people make. They'll be done with an interview, they stand up, and they shake that interviewer's hand, they say, thank you for the opportunity, I appreciate this, and I'll see you later, goodbye. And that's a huge mistake. I mean, this is your chance to leave a good impression. This is a chance that when that interviewer's, interviewing the next person, they're still thinking about you. They're still thinking about, hey, that person I interviewed was friendly. They handled my questions properly, and they left that interview and they left me with a good feeling. So when you're done with the interview, when you're done talking to somebody, thank them. Of course, you're going to thank them and say thank you for the interview. And then what I'd say is this. I'd say, how would you like me to follow up? Is there a good time that I should be following up? How long do you think this interview process is going to take? Just simple questions. And then what you say is, I really do want to thank you for the interview. I know that this is a good fit for me. I know I can contribute to this company, and I know I would do a great job for you. And I'm looking forward to talking to you. That's all you got to say. At the end is ask for the sale. Basically, you're saying to them, hey, I'm interested in this position. I know I could do a good job for you. What is the next step? And that's all you got to do. So number one is you want to know how or learn how to answer behavioral questions. Those are fairly easy because you get the same questions all the time. What's a difficult situation you were in? Well, you know what? Practice a couple of them. Then number two, learn how to build a rapport. Be friendly, be outgoing, engage that interviewer, talk to them, get them to feel comfortable with you. Because again, you may be working with them. They may in fact be your boss. Number three, and this is one that I always like to do, is leave a good impression. But make sure that you're asking, what's the next step? What do I do next? So those are three mistakes that I've seen people make, and I have interviewed, as I've said, thousands of people, and I've seen those mistakes time and time again, and their mistakes are made quite often in an interview. So again, I want to go back to something though. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, all you got to do is hit that little subscribe button. There's a little bell there, as I mentioned. Just click on that little bell and you'll get our latest updates, and they'll be delivered right to your inbox. So that's it for today's episode of Over 50 TV. I hope that you've learned something, and I look forward to meeting you and talking to you again soon. Have a great day, everybody.